So it has been reported that there is a leak for an Uncharted 4 PC port. Now, this is just recent news. I have a lot of thoughts about this. First and foremost, this seems to be in line with what Sony's plans are as far as bringing their other games, their other exclusives to PC as a means to expand their audience and attract a wider selection of fans, which is ultimately good for them because that increases the possibility of PC gamers coming to PlayStation, or just, remaining on PC, but they still get to experience what Sony has to offer as far as their exclusives go. To me, it never really made any sense looking back on it. This whole industry standard of console exclusives. It especially doesn't make any sense now in today's day and age to keep video games that are meant to be like showcases for a specific console like Xbox or PlayStation. It doesn't make any sense that those games just remain exclusive on those platforms, because PC gaming is a lot bigger now than it ever has been. So it only makes sense from a business perspective to bring more exclusives to PC. And it seems Sony is definitely committed in bringing more of their games to PC, similar to Microsoft. Although theirs is right now, it's more teases than anything. They're just trickling their older games, their older exclusives to PC. What I'm most interested to hear is whether or not Sony plans to release all of their games to PC day and date release for their console releases. And that's something that I don't think is what's in the cards right now for Sony. That's something I don't think that they really have planned at the moment. But that's something that could change. There is a wide audience out there on PlayStation platforms that believes that somehow this is a bad thing because it invalidates any reason to pick up a PlayStation. There's a lot of people out there that do prefer console over PC, be it willful ignorance or just that's just whatever they're most comfortable with, based off of their older gaming habits. So not everyone's going to get a PC. But that doesn't mean that Sony should leave that audience behind, because PC, once again, is a big audience. There's nothing that I have to say that's bad about this. There's plenty of other Sony exclusives from the PlayStation 4 era that they could bring over to PC. One of them is Bloodborne. I think their biggest one for sure would be it would either be God of War or Spider-Man. Those would be their two biggest games. And if Uncharted 4 is coming to PC, because that's a Naughty Dog game, then I'm curious if they're planning on porting some of Naughty Dog's other games to PC, such as The Last of Us or the earlier Uncharted games, Uncharted 1 through 3. I'm wondering, what their long-term goal is, because I'm pretty sure Uncharted 4 is not going to be the last game, obviously, that they intend on releasing to PC. There's going to be more. Eventually, there's going to be more that's going to come to PC. But like I said, man, it doesn't make much sense to be on console anymore at this point. Even if you have to wait a few years to get certain titles, PC is really becoming the dominant gaming platform. Not that it isn't already, but just the amount of options that's available, to where you're not only are you getting games that are just exclusive to PC, not only are you getting all the multi-platform games that are coming to console as well, be it Xbox or Sony, PlayStation, but you're also getting console exclusives, games that are traditionally meant to be only on console. you're really getting a trifecta. And then you also have Game Pass that's also available on PC as well for a very small reduced price. So there's really no reason not to own a gaming PC if you consider yourself to be a hardcore gamer and you buy a lot of video games per year. You know, this would be like around five plus games per year. Yeah, there's nothing bad that I have to say about this. But again, if you look at this chart right here, Sony, they seem to be. This is why Metacritic really does matter, because these publishers, they pay attention to these scores. They're comparing the PlayStation 4's launch lineup to the PlayStation 5's launch lineup. Now, the PlayStation 5 launch lineup that wasn't a good launch lineup at all. Demon Souls is just a remake to a very old game. Sackboy is like for more for a niche audience, and then Spider-Man was also released on PlayStation 4. But they're comparing the two different scores and trying to basically create the narrative that they're doing a lot better than what they did with the PlayStation 4 launch lineup, which is far from the truth, but that's the narrative that they're trying to establish. When I look at their post-launch lineup, I'm not really seeing much right now. These third-party games will be available on PC. Deathloop will be coming to PC. Resident Evil Village is already on PC. I played that entire game on PC. Far Cry 6 will be on PC. Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm not sure about that one, but I think that's also going to be on PC. Forspoken will be on PC as well. Final Fantasy 16, even if it's not on PC right away, it will come to PC sooner or later at some point, just like the rest of the Final Fantasy games. And then their first party launch lineup or post-launch lineup. You have Gran Turismo 7, which, whatever, that's a racing game. You have the Show 21. There's plenty of sports options on PC, so whatever with that. You have Returnal, but yeah, that game is. It seems that a lot of people have had issues with that game for obvious reasons. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I'll give them that one. I'm curious if they're going to bring any Insomniac games to PC, because that's one of their biggest first-party studios. So, and then you have Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Zero Dawn was already released to PC. I'd imagine that Forbidden West will also be released to PC at some point. And then you have God of War Ragnarok. I personally don't give a shit about the God of War games going forward, but there's a lot of people that do care about that IP still. I don't know if Sony intends on ever releasing any of the God of War games to PC. If they release the older ones to PC, I'll jump on that in a heartbeat, quick. Yeah, that will have my support. The older games, the ones before 2018. But I am curious if they are going to bring 2018 God of War to PC, because if they do, then that just further incentivizes that Sony is not going to. They don't have any restrictions on what studios, like what games from which studios get put on PC, and they are serious about expanding their audience. So it's really just good all the way around. If you game on PC, or if you're thinking of jumping to the PC, there couldn't be a better time to jump on board. So looking forward to E3 this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what all goes down at E3. Particularly on Sony's side. Microsoft, I'm also interested to know what their first party lineup is going to look like. We'll just have to see what happens.